about the fact that part of your responsibility, and when I say your responsibility, of course, I'm talking about the CRCA and the folks that are at the corner. Part of your responsibility, of course, is rider safety, but you guys also have to look after one another.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on a corner with many other marshals, and we have it set up such that we have a hierarchy on the corner, typically with a corner senior, a flagger, a communicator, and a safety person. So, yeah, we watch each other's back, and you can't watch each direction. You know, you've got to do different formations of back-to-back or a modified L, where you're watching the bikes coming into the corner and leaving the corner. So that's your priority is yourself and the person standing right next to you, and through your team, and then it goes right out to the track and right into the spectators, to be quite honest with you, at some events where, you know, the spectators shouldn't be where they're supposed to be, so we got to get them out of there to make them safe too. So it's a full, we're responsible for, actually, people don't understand that, we're responsible for the entire facility, you know, and that's, you know, that certainly...
You surprised me with that one.
No, we're responsible for the fans in the crowd, actually, too. If you look down at the rules and how it works, and you know, we don't emphasize that so much at our regional levels, but when you get up into the higher levels of MotoGP, and you know, you deal with the security people there, and if you don't like somebody that's standing on a corner and he's taking pictures with a high output flash, you go and tell that security person to tell that guy to turn his flash off, because these guys are coming into a corner, they're on a lean angle, and all of a sudden they get this great big flash in their eyes, and that's not safe for the rider. So we have to watch every aspect of safety on the track and in the stands.
One of the, actually there's two little popular myths about corner marshals that I'm going to explode right now. First of all, that it's often referred to, and Lindsay, you and I have done it ourselves on the PA system, we refer to these guys as the thankless workers out there. That is not a fact at all. Every podium I've ever seen in Canadian racing, at least one of the riders acknowledges the corner workers. I've seen a father, in fact, I'll tell you who it was Rolly Reedman working on Kenny's bike one day, working away, and suddenly realized he had a marshal over his shoulder watching on, and he dropped his wrenches, turned around, shook the guy's hand, and said, "Thanks for what you're doing." So that's one little myth, and Pat, I'll look for a nod from you on that. You guys get thanks from those riders quite often. And the other thing is, we refer to it as being a volunteer job. Now, I realize that at many events it is a volunteer job. You get basically a free lunch. But at some events, you do get paid.
Yeah, at some of the tracks we do get paid, but not at the regionals. I mean, in some of the MotoGP events we do get paid, but it's mainly because it's expensive to go to these, and it's sort of a way of remuneration. I certainly don't do it for the money. I do it because I love the sport. And getting back to your prior, you know, there's a lot of times people will just, you know, especially if a bike goes down and it's during a race and you run out on the track and you get the bike and you pick up the pieces and all your team's running back and stuff. I mean, you can have a whole section of the stands just cheering and clapping because they were able to have that race continue. You got out there, you got the rider off safely, you got the bike off safety, and you coming back in and you're looking up and everybody in the crowd standing up and cheering, and that's a great feeling. And it kind of makes you feel special, but I do it because I love the sport. And it's a way for me to volunteer and give to the sport, because really, if we look at motorsport around the world, we would not have the level of motorsport that we have today without volunteers. It simply wouldn't be possible.